Morning everyone, if you can see me that is. The sun's bright today, so it's December the 21st, the winter solstice, and I'm in a similar location to where I was yesterday. This is around about an area of woodland called Madron Khan. It's under the Leofoto estates. They apparently got a management plan for the area, increasing biodiversity, which all sounds to the good. And I'm here because I got a tip off from a fellow film photographer, Sid TV, who told me about it. So I'm going to see what's here, if anything, apart from that dog who doesn't like me being here, just doing his job. He's in his cage or his kennel. Right, so it's woodland, twisted trees. Let's see what we can find. I can immediately see we're in an area of heathland. We've got heathers growing, moss strewn with boulders, which I think are probably in situ from the last ice age or for when they were deposited for whatever reason. The notice on the gate by the bridleway up there stated that they were trying to remove things like the rhododendron, which you can see in front of you. It has colonised a large part of our native heathland. It is something that's very difficult to eradicate in large areas. And I know they have in small areas like Lundy Island, for example, but getting rid of them in places like this is much more of a challenge. I can see there's some standing stones over there. Whether they're actually a Neolithic monument or just something that was put up by a farmer as a fancy, I don't know. Let's investigate. Seem to be some kind of wall or boundary. All worked, no doubt about that, but I don't think they're Neolithic, or at least their placement is not Neolithic. They may of course been scavenged from other monuments around and placed in this position, which is possible. I don't know the history, but they certainly make a striking feature. Beyond is one area of woodland, this heathland. There's lots of jagged boulders and little dips and things. Sphagnum moss. Up there I think is the woodland I'm really looking for, and I don't think I've got time to explore it today. In fact, I've got very little time now, so I'm going to very quickly dash off some pics. I've spotted something which will make a composition back there, so I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to check out this woodland first. I'm going to shoot handheld, and got my composition lined up of the boulder. I'll show you that boulder and the three trees beyond. Now the difficulty there is keeping them separate. There's got to be a bit of a compromise because the middle one either leans over into the front one or I can't get the back one separate, so I'm going to go for the middle one is the one that's going to suffer. But I think they make an interesting shape. So some further trees beyond, but I've metered for 500 at f11, so it's a bright day. I'm using 400 speed film, so dark slide out, waist level finder, that rock that looks like a pyramid in the distance balancing the image, I think, and my shadow's not in, so let's get it done. I'll keep my shadow out. One image made. Now I'm going to break out the yellow filter, attach that to the front. That won't need anything in the way of exposure compensation. Let's Here it is, one yellow filter. I also need the filter adapter. I've only managed to scratch this formerly immaculate 40mm lens. That's what I'm using for this composition. Again, right, let's get this attached. Shouldn't need to refocus. Right, see if it does anything. Right. We're in an area of woodland that's about half a mile out of Madron. It's got lots of amazing twisted trees, very decrepit, that have just been left to stand here. I think most of them are oaks, possibly a few are sycamores, maybe up towards that end. The tree you can see behind me is one candidate, with its splayed trunks and decay and ferns and moss and lichens. But probably the stars of the show are the trees further beyond. So I'll swing this round and you can see. So there's 2 or 3, possibly more down that way, which look amazing. The trouble is, and I'll swing you back so I can talk to you again, is that the light is not amazing at the moment. There is a bit of a hint of sunshine every now and then, as just happened just now. As I said, the light wasn't amazing. Thank you, God. Yeah, so you have to wait for a shaft of sunlight to give a bit of a lift to the trees. But yes, beautifully gnarled, twisted, sprawling trees. So I feel my inner Simon Baxter or even Simon Booth coming on. Will I be able to execute a decent shot? Only time will tell. Okay, so Houston, we have a problem, or at least an issue, which is that when I took off the speed grip off the Bronica, I forgot that the tripod adapter was missing. Oh well, is now missing because it's still attached to that. However, I do have a spare which is attached to the Nikon, but that's back in the car and that's a good 10-minute walk away. So I think rather than going back for it, I'm going to hope that the light stays enough to make handheld exposures. Wish me luck. I've got my shots lined up, so I'll quickly show you the second one. I've already shown you the first one, and then I've got another one down further behind me, some lovely colours in the bark, lichens and other trees. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably put the back that's loaded with Kodak Gold on for that, so put that in my pocket. Okay, let's get on while the light maintains. You never know, we might get a shaft of sunlight. There's certainly blue sky around, but in the direction where the weather's coming from, which is over there, it's looking grayer and grayer, and that's because rain or showers are forecast later on. First shot, roots of this tree. So just changing the back, put the Kodak Gold on. This is where I require several sets of hands. I guess this is why all those studio photographers back in the day had assistants. See if we can get this one on. Now, disaster. There we go. So this is Kodak Gold. Dark slide out. And one stop opened up by, because it's a 200 speed film and I've been using 400. So try and line up this composition again. Wind on the film. First shot of this roll. May have got a little bit of sky in the background there, I think, at the last minute. Quite difficult to control. So Okay, so lining up the next shot, I'm just going the other side of this big branch of this tree. From this angle, I think there's more separation than from some of the other angles. I think I might try and get that. Oh, you can't see that. On the other side of that trunk, there's a sort of scar which I think might hold it in quite nicely, but it's pretty dark. However, it's a wide angle lens, so let's try that. Right, swap backs, do the same shot except on the black and white 400, so we can go back up to f8 nominally. Right, cut out all the boring stuff, get this composed again, back to f8, gives us a little bit more depth of field, same composition, 400 ISO. Right, those two done. Let's get on to the final one, which I'm just going to do in colour, because that's a colour shot. Okay. So this is the tree in question. I believe it's a Hawthorn, but it's also got MkIV trailing up it. Just love the colours, the shape. It all seems to twist round itself. So this can afford to be a rather more shallow depth of field, so I'm trying not to include too much background in it. So I can afford to go down to f4, which is a maximum aperture on this camera. I'm going to stay at 60th of a second, so I'm going to get the colour back out, because at the moment we've still got the Kentmere on, so it's a bit more difficult using this camera vertically with the waist level finder. It's beautifully in focus there. You know, I could still do this horizontally. Once again, try to keep as much sky out as possible. That may be a difficult thing. So it's not super high contrast, and it is colour. Let's get wound on, finger on shutter button, check focus. There we are. I think that's it for the day. I mean, there are lots of other trees. It's very tempting to stop and take lots and lots of pictures, but I've got to get back for the next procession at 3:30, and it's 2:30 now. 10 minutes. Right, done for the day. I did investigate another shot over there, but really it needed something different. Also needed a tripod to do the composition, I think, and it might work better with a 4x5 and some tilt. So stopping now. Thanks for watching this bit. I'll try and stick these videos out in some sort of order, or even compile them into one. Okay, see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.